a centipede, naked in your bedroom. Oh, when you swear to God, the fucker's out to get you. And I digress, 'cause I must make you the perfect mold.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a mum, and my daughter Isabel Phipps was very good friends with Maddie, and we lost her 2 years ago to suicide.
Hi, I'm Zoe Hazelden. I'm one of Izzy's best mates from college. We went to Hartbury together for a year.
Hello, I'm Elliot Phipps, Izzy's younger brother.
Try my best to put the priest inside a jam jar.
Can you tell me about your daughter? What was she like?
She was a force. She was funny. She was a light. She was definitely not like everybody else, and she knew how to love.
What were your favourite memories with Izzy?
My favourite memories of Izzy, we used to play a lot of rugby together, and that was great. And one of my fondest memories is that one time we did this, like, we used to both eat so many Squares bars that we did like how many we could stuff into our mouth at once, and then we both ended up vomiting absolutely everywhere like 5 minutes afterwards. It was a lot of mess to clean up.
Any more?
Yeah, but there's just when we went to go play a rugby game once, she wanted her mum to take this like really cute like aesthetic photo after the game, and it actually just ended up being us both covered in mud, and she absolutely hated it because you couldn't see anything but her bum. That was literally all that was in the photo.
Can you tell me about your sister? What was she like?
We had a good relationship towards the end, but like we struggled to get on like normal siblings when we were both younger. When she first started going through like an eating disorder, we had a bit of like aggression towards each other, but just mainly like normal siblings, like argue then make up, but we got a lot closer towards like the last like year and a half before she passed.
Isabel Scarlett Phipps was born the 12th of September 2005 in Trinidad. She was bleached blonde with massive blue eyes. She was the happiest baby and the sweetest child according to family. At a young age, she developed a love for rugby, singing and the guitar. As Izzy grew up, she was still passionate about all of her interests, pursuing rugby as her main sport, viewing her team as her second family. She ended up playing rugby at Hartbury, a prestigious boarding school that specialises in sports. What are some of your favourite memories with her?
She just seemed to be on a faster track than everybody else. Slept through the night before any of my other children. She swam before any of them. She was like noticed before any of my other children. She was a force. It was fun to be around.
Who was she in your life and how did she shape you as a person?
Izzy was one of my best friends, and she taught me a lot about like self-confidence and trying to like get to know yourself and almost like living life to the fullest. She didn't want there to be a dull moment or just like do nothing. She always wanted to get out and do something, and like she taught me a lot about like how to see myself as a person instead of just living life without like thinking about that.
What are some of your favourite memories with her?
Mainly like just being at home and like doing stuff. Like I remember like playing on the trampoline a lot in our old house together, which was really nice. And then like I remember when she had like her first big party and everyone coming around and like a Nerf fight after. That was pretty fun. And like just having some just like when we go for to family days and stuff, like having like the only person who was a bit closer to my age, as my older brother was a lot older, just like someone to spend a lot of time with, and then like holidays together as well.
How would you describe your relationship with her?
I was very much a mum. You know, I would never want it to be like my children's best friend. But we like shared a lot of things that we were passionate about, and she was always very giving and honest and sharing about it, so I always felt really close to her. Like anything that she liked, I kind of either was passionate about or remotely liked, and she was always very careful to share that.
To prove that nothing's out to get.
When did you first notice that she was struggling?
So, I suppose like primary school a little bit, she would take things very personally if a friendship didn't work out or she felt she was being judged. It was quite a big thing, which probably resonates with a lot of mums. Then secondary school, she started secondary school very happy almost until the second year of secondary school, and then it was like really hard, not very good relationships. Also she was in a netball team and she felt very isolated, like she was the one that no one really liked, like it was a clique and she was always on the outside, and that affected her. It seemed to me that it was completely natural because I saw it, so I never went like, oh, you're oversensitive. Like I saw it, but she always seemed to fix things. So she didn't like the netball she was in, so she'd go to another team. She didn't like the school she was in, so she did a 13 plus, got into another school, and so she seemed like when things were tough, she got on and solved it. And then coming out of COVID, she developed anorexia, and obviously that's a serious mental health illness. But again, she just, once I recognised it, she owned it, and when she realised the impact it was going to have, like she couldn't go to school, she couldn't play rugby, she was like on it, honest, really worked to get it better. There were yes, definitely mental health issues, but she just always seemed to be on it, honest, and wanting to get better. And like bizarrely with her anorexia, which was hard acknowledging COVID, but it wasn't even the worst time. She was home, determined to get better, to get back to school, but get back to rugby. And it was actually a time when we got really close, because obviously she, at that point, she couldn't hide it from me, and we like kind of worked together every day about getting better. And bizarrely, it's some of there's happy memories in there with me, Izzy, and her anorexia and her getting better.
Looking back, were there any signs that she was struggling?
Yeah, I think, well, for me, just like the aggression from like her eating disorder, like just like short tempers, quick fuse, and like just like not on purposely, but like being horrible sometimes without realising it. But apart from that, no, not really. I never really noticed anything.
Did she ever talk to you or anyone about how she was feeling?
No, she never spoke to me. She told me that like everything was fine after I like spoke to her. Like I spoke to her about eating disorder once, and then she said it was all fine, but never about anything serious other than that.
'Cause I must make you the perfect morning.
How did you learn about Izzy's passing?
I learned on the day that it happened because I was the last person to see her, and the police called my mum, and she had to tell me, and I wasn't allowed to tell anyone else. It was a very traumatic moment.
What kind of support did you or your daughter seek out, or you and Issy seek out?
So when she was unhappy in secondary school, before she went 13 plus, went to GP and she got some counselling, which was just talking therapy. I can't remember how many sessions, and she, not the first counsellor, but she definitely got a counsellor that she bonded with, and it seemed to help, but it didn't help as much as Issy owning it, getting her 13 plus and going to Borlays. She was just like, as soon as she got there, she was with her people and happy. And then coming out of COVID, once I recognised anorexia, the CAMS help came very quick, and I felt like I was supported, she was supported. Obviously a lot of it was like not face to face or Zoom, but like really shared information, like how I could be the best support. Like it felt like really good. Then beyond that, in terms of her depression, there seemed like no support whatsoever. And then obviously learning after a suicide, when she was trying to reach out, the support was beyond inadequate. It seemed to me like it was cruel that it wasn't there. Just, it was the bare minimum, and yeah, just unbelievably pathetic, if I'm honest.
Issy left her family in the dark about her mental health. After struggling with anorexia for most of her teenage years, she continued to struggle with body image issues and self-esteem. This was a main factor into her declining mental health, as well as other things such as depression, anxiety, and the night before she died, drug abuse too. 1 out of 100 women who struggle with depression end up committing suicide each year. According to science, the association between substance misuse and suicide is stronger for females. These are all statistics that Issy is now a part of. Do you mind talking about the experience of loss?
Yeah, that's fine.
Can you walk me through the day that you found out that she passed?
So I was on rugby tour, and at first I just got a message from Issy like, I love you. And then I knew she was struggling a little bit, but I didn't realise it was that serious. But I said to Mum, like, I think there's something a bit up, because she also sent like, all the family photos to our family WhatsApp. And then from there we were like calling her and then no pickup. So we'd like decide, I remember one of Mum's friends, Bex, went round to go check if everything was okay. And then she was initially reported missing, but as she was found in the garage. And then I remember at night the police knocking on our door and telling my parents. And then my parents were both instantly upset, but for me, I didn't really feel anything, because it just kind of felt a bit surreal. So like the day that the night we found back in the drive was just a bit like emotionless, like not really feeling anything.
What was your initial reaction?
My initial reaction wasn't what I thought it would be. Like, I started crying like a lot, and then I was like screaming, and I was like I didn't know what to do. I didn't like feel like I was alive anymore, because I just lost my best friend, and it was something I never expected to happen. Like, I don't think anyone did. Yeah.
How has your understanding of grief changed over time?
Definitely a lot, because like the first like year and 3/4, like, I never really felt anything about it. Like, it just kind of felt like she was at college, or like it wasn't really real. But only recently, like, it's kind of become more realistic and getting harder. But I suppose it showed me like over time, it's not just something that sits instantly, but it's like something that can happen randomly, and it like develops over time.
Are there any particular things that helped you cope?
I guess just like maintaining a good friendship group, because like even though I wasn't really talking to people, like it's just nice having people around me that could like bring like joy out of me, and then also having like teachers that supported me, like really like brought me up, and like just being like, even if it wasn't to talk about Izzy, but like just saying to a teacher like I'm struggling, and being able to have like a lesson out where I can work in like a different room like by myself just like really helped. So just I guess like time alone, and then also like time with friends and like time with people I love.
What moments or triggers bring back the pain most intensely?
Like looking at old photos and videos of Izzy, but nothing really else. Or like sometimes just random, like it'll come randomly, like a random thought with nothing triggering it. But if I see a video, sometimes it can quite upset me.
What has helped you cope or continue on through grief?
People sustain you. I'm so lucky that I've got my 3 boys, Simon, my partner, Ethan and Elliot. And also I still have people in my life that knew Izzy, so that allows me to say her name, talk about her, make her still very much a part of our life, and I hope that never goes away. There comes a point where your kids become teenagers and you hope that they're doing well in their life, and then you get to meet their friends or people they're acquainted with, and you realise, wow, my kids nailing this, they've got the best friends in the world. Like, these are all people I'm happy to like spend time with, want to be with, and you just think, I'm really proud of my kids. And Izzy was so true of that, and I'm so grateful that they still take the time to be a part of my life, communicate with me, check in with me. Because, yeah, her friends were some of the best humans I've ever met.
Hello, please may you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Dominic Rees and I am the father of Madeline Rees.
How did you watch your daughter grieve?
Well, I was there with Madeline the morning that we found out, and we were one of the first few people to find out the truth about Izzy and what had happened. And initially I saw Madeline absolutely fall apart. She was overcome with upset, grief, shock, the horror of it all. It was exceptionally tough as a parent to watch your child go through something like that. And over time, and we've done a lot of research into the stages of grief, we saw Madeline moving through those stages of the disbelief, then the anger, then the pain and the sorrow. I can't remember the exact stages, but we saw her move through those stages, and it was harrowing to watch. It really was.
Explain my initial reaction to finding out that Izzy died.
Well, and as I said, we were there just outside Izzy's house, and the police were there. We didn't know they were police. They were in plain clothes. And as you approached the gate, they took you to one side and then got in the car with you in the passenger seat and me in the driver's seat. And she said from the rear seat of the car what had happened. And I cried. I really loved Izzy. I thought she was fantastic. And Madeline, like I said, absolutely fell apart, and she got out of the car for probably want of something to do, and I had to kind of hold on to her. I had to get her to hold a neighbour's fence because she was wandering in the road, The road was not busy at all, but it was still something I didn't want to have happen. And I've never seen my beloved daughter so upset. It was really heartbreaking. And on top of that, I myself was also heartbroken that this has happened.
Did you worry about me, and why did you worry?
I and your mum worried about you every single day, and the primary worry was that you felt it would be something that you'd wish to do as well, something you want to do to see Izzy, and whether or not you felt that was not a copycat but an inspiration, that was a real worry. It was a real worry that you were going to do something similar, and we had you on watch for a very, very long time.
What did you worry about? Anything that I did?
Yeah, we worried constantly that you were going to do something similar.
Were there any things that I did during grieving that I didn't do before that you worry about?
Yeah, there are a number of things apart from the upset and the crying and not wanting to be out of your room, was that when you were out of your room, you were wanting to start drinking alcohol a lot more, and we noticed a dramatic increase in the intake of alcohol since Izzy died, and that's been a problem for a couple of years now. We're starting to see the tail end of it, but it was a real problem. We could see that you were wanting to try and maybe find the answer through drinking, and it was heart-wrenching to watch. We don't want our daughter to be boozing it unnecessarily, and yeah, it was difficult to watch.
Thank you so much for your time, Dad.
You're welcome.
So this is the part which I'm not looking forward to. Now I come to the end of my documentary about Izzy, who was my best friend. I knew her for quite a while, and we spent every single day together. We spent every Tuesday together making pasta. That was our pasta days, pasta Tuesdays. Fridays, we were always around her house. We had movie night on Fridays, and then Saturdays we usually went out for a walk. She never explained, she did it well, she explained that she struggled with mental health, but she never told me she struggling that hard towards the end, which I'm angry about, because if I knew, I would have stopped her. If I knew that she was feeling so low, I would have done something, and I feel useless because I didn't do anything. She had a party the night before, which was pretty much a goodbye party. And the last thing that we said to each other was that we loved each other and that we were each other's bestest friends, and that was the last thing I ever said to her. The next day she hung herself, and I was, I think, like one of the first people to find out. I found out because I was going to her house the next day. the police were there and they told me, and I don't remember a lot. All I really remember was breaking down. I'm just thinking about what I want to say. There's so much I could say. That year was the most difficult year of my whole entire life. I grieved horribly. It was a horrible experience. I mean, all grief is horrible. But I probably felt that some people dealt with it better than I dealt with it. I drank a lot. I had substance abuse issues. My bipolar heightened, and I was unable to control my emotions and my feelings. It was a really horrible time. It's a feeling that I don't wish on even my worst enemy, having been with your best friend one day and then the next day finding out that she took her life. I remember going to her house the first time afterwards to go pick up her things, spot some of her things, and the smell of her was so overwhelming. I wanted to do this documentary for a very long time. It's taken a massive toll on my own mental health. But I know it'll be worth it because I know that I'll make Issy proud. I hope. I first met Issy on the 12th of July 2021. The moment I saw her, I knew she was going to change my life for better, and she did. For everyone that had the pleasure to meet Issy knew that she was a ray of sunshine. Her smile lit up every room, and she had a way with people that leave them mesmerised. Not too long ago, I was dancing with her in her kitchen, unaware that that would be the last time I would get to hold her. If I knew it was, I would never let go. My sweet, beautiful best friend would now be my guardian angel. Issy was kind, loyal, and extremely stubborn. I would do anything for her to practically shout at me to tickle her back one last time. My fondest memories with Issy is being cuddled up in a bed, watching Barbie movies on our illegal channel with candles lit up in her room and the same chocolate wafers we had every time we saw each other. We cooked together, napped together, walked together, held each other whilst we cried, jumped around together when we were excited, and danced together because we also shared the love of old dad music. Most mornings she would drag me out of bed to go on a dog walk, which I always dreaded because, ironic as it is, Issy loves sports and I couldn't stand the idea of doing anything remotely sporty. She loved music, art, writing, and as everyone here knows, had a huge passion for rugby, which she was so talented at. There was nothing Issy couldn't do or try. We can remind ourselves of the Issy we know by the way the sun sets, the way the breeze brushes you on a windy day, or the way the sun warms your back on a hot summer night. She always reminds me of the summer and the sun, the brightest girl with the brightest smile. Issy will always be a happy memory for every person and forever in our hearts until the day we get to see her again.